Welcome everyone to this topic on personal selling, the various approaches and the process all about. Now, the premises are simple and simple to personal selling. There are only five basic approaches. Remember, only five basic approaches. One and the most important is stimulus response selling. First, you need to create a stimulus or the need of requirement in the minds of the customers. Then is the mental state. Then we have the need satisfaction, as in what is the want and how do you satisfy those needs. The fourth is if there is any problem that the customer is facing, can you provide a solution to this problem? And the last one is consultative selling. If everybody is purchasing certain things or availing certain products or services, it basically creates an urgency in the mind of the customer to be a part of that clan. And that is where the consultative selling comes around here. Stimulus response selling, mental state, need satisfaction, problem solving, and consultative selling. Let me recount them each one at a time. Stimulus response selling. This is the simplest and is based on the fact that various stimuli can elicit predictable responses. Salespeople furnish the stimuli from a collection of words and action designed to produce the desired response. For example, the salesperson designs a series of questions just to condition the prospective buyer to say yes to the entire sales proposition. This is often used by telemarketing personnel who rely on the comprehensive sales script read and delivered from memory. Also used by inexperienced salesperson. Then comes the mental state steering. This assumes that the buying process for most buyers is essentially identical and that a buyer can lead through certain mental state, or should I say steps, in the buying process. These steps are typically referred as IDA: attention, interest, desire, and action. Again, IDA: A for attention, I for interest, D for desire, and A for action, as in the real transaction or purchase. Appropriate messages provides a transition from one mental state to the next mental state. It relies on highly structured sales presentation, and the salesperson does most of the talking. This forces the salesperson to plan the presentation prior to calling their customer. One problem is that it is difficult to determine which state is the prospect is in. Then comes the need satisfaction selling. This is based on the notion the customer is buying to satisfy a particular need, or should I say, sets of need. Salesperson task is to identify the need to be met, then to help the buyer meet the need. Focus is on customers rather than on the salesperson. It relies on the questionnaire that would bring out customer needs. Customers appreciate these selling methods and are often willing to spend considerable time in preliminary meetings to define the needs prior to the sales presentation or written proposal thereof. This is vital. Problem solving selling. This is an extension of the needs satisfaction selling and goes beyond to identify the needs to develop alternative solutions for satisfying these needs. Sometimes even competitor offering are included as alternatives in the purchase decision. Insurance salespersons, for example, report this to be so in their field. The problem solving approach appears to be most successful in technical industrial sales situation in which the parties involved are usually oriented towards scientific reasoning and process, thus find this approach to sales amenable. The last part is the consultative selling. This is the process of helping customers reach their strategic goal by using the product, services, and expertise of the organization. Salespeople confirm their customer strategic goals and then work collaboratively with the customers to achieve these goals. This is just a recent approach that was added and gained popularity. Let me explore the process of personal selling. This may be defined as the process of assisting or persuading a prospect to buy a good or services or to act upon an idea through a person to person communication. There are certain steps for personal selling process which may be recalled as prospective and qualifying. Pre-approach and pre-calling planning. Approach, presentation and demonstration. Objections, handling objections, closing sales, and follow up all together. And that is what we are talking about the personal selling process is concerned with. Let me recount all those 8 steps of personal selling process. First is prospecting and qualifying. This involves searching for a potential for the product in question. The contemporary salesperson locate a pool of customers and then screens them to determine which one are qualified prospect. After a potential prospect are located, they must be evaluated in terms of screening the criteria of determining whether they merit further sales attention. Some commonly used criteria compatibility, accessibility, eligibility, authority, and profitability. Then comes the pre approach or pre calling sales planning. The salesperson gathers information about the prospect, everything about the customer that would be used to formulate the sales presentation. Salespersons may determine the buyer needs, buyer motives, and details of the buyer situation that are relevant to the upcoming sales presentation. Self confidence is increased by acquisition of knowledge, and the salesperson credibility with the prospect is enhanced. We come to the next approach. This involves making the actual contact with the prospect, and it is a two phases. The first phase is securing the appointment of the sales interview, the sales call, and the second phase is to cover the first minutes of the first sales call. Each of these two steps is very vital. Bad impression of the customer can be very difficult or impossible to overcome. The presentations and demonstration. This stage includes the actual presentation of the product to the prospect. With major purchases, prospect perceived a considerable amount of risk. To be able to reduce that perception of risk in prospect, the salesperson must appear credible, a source of information, personal behavior that builds credibility, are dressing appropriately, showing common courtesies for all persons. The salesperson must be good listener and is essential for building credibility. We look after objections. Frequently, prospects before buying a product are likely to raise some concern, some objection, in order to minimize the post-purchase dissonances. Objection may be classified as psychological resistance due to a certain sentiment that comes around here, what we are looking into it, to money, dislike for decision making, reluctant to give out something. Second is a logical resistance, relates to the delivery schedule and price disagreement of the product characteristic thereby, and that is what we are trying to look forward to. Handling objections. To handle objection effectively, the salesperson must maintain a positive attitude towards the prospect. That is, the salesperson must be patient and persistent. The salesperson can ask for clarification of the objection if necessary, questions the buyer in a manner that he or she has to answer his or her objection, or turn the objection into a reason to buy. Next step is closing the sale. There are several techniques for closing the sale. The salesperson may ask for the order. The salesperson may offer to write up the order, or, for example, LPO or the pro forma invoice. The salesperson may ask which one of the prospects buyer wants to prefer. The salesperson may offer specific inducement as in discount, as in extra quantity, or as in special price, special packaging, as the case might be. It must be noted immediately after closing the sales, the salesperson must complete necessary details agreed upon, delivery, and confirm the terms of payment and the terms of purchase. The last one is the follow up, is to ensure the customer satisfaction is satisfied and there might be repeat orders. It also ensures that dissipating post purchase dissonance. Follow up sales may be necessary for other services as proper installations of product services, regular services, detection of problems, and general advice on the use of product. With this, I come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching the same.